Hello and welcome to the Cris Reisert Show, week 2 of the college football season. That's kind of nice to say as we sit here in the fall. But first off, Coach, how you doing today, buddy?
Doing great. No, had been a good week of practice so far.
Feels good after a win, doesn't it?
It does. It's always easier to correct some issues that are there after a win, and you're able to kind of be hard on the guys and really, I think, kind of refocus and re-energize. And so it's been a good week, been a hard week.
Yeah, I see you got your Gridiron Club shirt on. Why don't you go ahead and tell the folks about the Gridiron Club in case they want to get involved with it?
No, it's awesome. So our Gridiron Club, you're able to register, you're able to join online. It's a group of alums, a group of families, friends of our program. It's $300 to join, and it gets you season tickets, 2 season tickets, gets you a parking pass, gets you access to our Gridiron Club tent on game days where we have food and drinks and all the above. And then you also get Gridiron Club gear. And so it's a great way to give back to the program, and all the proceeds go directly to our program, which is worth its weight in gold for us, and to continue to, I think, elevate our program in the way that we need to.
At the Division II level, it's so important to stay connected with your alumni, and I think a lot of those Gridiron Club, and there's some other Dragons fans, a pretty good showing over at Marion there in week 1.
Yeah, we travel very well here, and that's been neat. No home game is truly a home game. Dragon Nation's going to go, and they're going to be loud, and they're going to be proud, and so it's been fun to have families, players, parents, alums, all kind of lumped into one and pulling in the same direction. So, but the Gridiron Club is a great group to be a part of, and it keeps you engaged.
Yep, we help the Gridiron Club with their efforts on our broadcast of the game. So yeah, if something you want to be a part of, I highly suggest it as well. All right, let's talk about Marion.
Yes, sir.
A wet weather day, to say the least. Boy, when you guys got there, the drizzle a little bit as you're warming up, then the rain got heavy, died a little bit there in the middle of the game, but then really picked up. But you guys, to say, what did you say, weathered the storm?
Yeah, no, I think it stayed true to the radar. We were peeking at it and kind of knew we were going to get a little bit of a reprieve early in the game, and then we were going to get kind of drenched in later in the game, and then ended up staying true. I was saying to Russ earlier, it was one of the wettest games I've ever been a part of, and it definitely played a role. I thought our guys did a nice job of really blocking out external factors and just controlling what we were able to, and for the most part, I thought we weathered the storm, no pun intended, very well. Really, when you look at our ball handling, we did a great job with our long snapper Ryan Young. Our punt returner Anthony Lowe did a tremendous job, and really in wet weather.
That's so tough.
Those are the positions that sometimes you don't think about, but those guys are, especially on Saturday with the amount of punting that Marion did. Anthony was in a position to really impact the game just by catching the football, and he did that.
Yeah, and their punter had quite a leg on him. He had a very nice day against you guys.
Very impressive.
Yeah, we have both kickers. Dave Orlando had a good game for you guys as well, both in the punting and kicking. But you talk about the conditions, and conditions like that, and still have a player come out as the conference offensive player of the week and your quarterback Nick Watson, that'd make you pretty proud.
Yeah, no, I was proud of Nick. I mean, I want to start and say how proud I was of our defense.
Well, that's where I was going next.
I thought our defense played incredibly well. I thought our defensive staff, Coach B and Coach Price and Coach Dukes, had a great game plan. And I thought our kids played really well and executed. So I definitely want to shout them out first. I think offensively, we put them in some very precarious situations early in the game, and defensively, I thought we really kind of stymied any momentum that was there, and play with our back against the wall, and so that was refreshing. The good thing I would say about Nick is I thought that as the game went on, he got more comfortable, he settled in, and it's like you always say, great players are going to make really great plays in big games, and he didn't have his best game throwing the football, and I think he would tell you as such, but when it came time to having to make a play to impact whether we win or lose a game, he's a guy that, when the chips are down, he's going to show up, and he did again on Saturday. And
you speak of your defense, Charlie Cleveland being a defensive player of the week, and he was the first one of your players when the Marion coaching staff came into the press box earlier. They were like, that Cleveland, he's a bad boy.
Yeah, no, he's a very good player. Charlie is had 2.5 sacks, had 9 tackles, and could have easily had 6 sacks, and which is a credit to our D-line, and we got a bunch of guys in the backfield. I think we set a school record in sacks at 8 here at Tiffin with those guys. So that was pretty cool to watch and be a part of. The other guy I want to shout out is Hunter Waits. Our interior defensive tackle, our nose guard, and that's one of those positions you don't see a lot of. You don't statistically speaking impact games, but throw stats out the window. I thought he did a great job of living in their backfield and really allowing Charlie and the rest of those guys to go and hunt the quarterback.
He was a disruptor. He was a disruptor the entire afternoon. All right, let's run down the scoring plays from Saturday. Now, interesting, no scores by either team in the first or third quarter. So you finished first quarter, 15 minutes football. Kind of a feeling out phase for both teams. The weather played a part of that as well. We get to the second quarter, And a little screen pass to your new running back, Darius Penix, and he lets his legs do the work. Got some great blocking out in front of him. He turned it into a 69-yard touchdown pass to get the Dragons on the board first.
No, it was huge. It was a big play. It was third down. They had brought an immense amount of pressure early in the game, and so just being able to slow some of that pressure down and get the ball on the perimeter, and that was a big moment. You saw Trent Clark leading the charge downfield, getting a big block, and Darius kind of did the rest. So it was good to be able to take a short throw and turn it into a big play, and ultimately, like when you score touchdowns at this level, really at any level, a lot of those drives are going to come with the big play because it's hard to go 15 yards, 15 plays, and 4 yards in a cloud of dust. It's challenged. So those shot plays, those big plays, those are huge.
Let's back to the first quarter a little bit real quick. First, you talk about how tough it is to move the ball. You guys were pinned back to your goal line the entire first quarter. That was a bit of a struggle to get to kind of get that field position flipped in your favor.
Yeah, no, it took us some time to be able to do that. And anytime you backed up, the objective is to move that football and try and at least put yourself in a situation when you get the ball back, you're in a better opportunity to score, right? Obviously, the closer you get the ball to the end zone, when you start, right, the easier it is to score points, right? Exactly. I know that sounds simple, but sometimes it's harder than it looks. And so it took us a little bit of time, I think, to kind of just figure things out up front. I thought they were an attacking style defense. I was impressed with them on defense, and offensively, it took us a little bit of time just to kind of, I think, get our feet wet and find some cohesion, and when we did, we were able to do what we needed to do.
Second quarter, your team fell down 10-6, and then another big play. A lot of big plays in this game. Your quarterback this time with his legs goes 72-yard touchdown run to get the Dragons back on top.
Yeah, another big moment. It was one of those things where, again, it was a third down play, and Nick was able to find a way. It was a great block by Darius Penix on a quarterback run, and it was fun to kind of see him downfield and obviously impact the game as a lone catcher and score one, and then impact the game as a blocker and score two.
That's
so
huge.
Trying to find guys that give great effort and play completely, and those are two good examples of our running back doing that.
It's so important if you can get points at the end of the half, especially when you knew you were getting the football back to start the second half. Not only did you score once in the final 2 minutes of the first half, you scored a second touchdown when Jalen Thomas had a 15-yard touchdown pass from Nick Watson to put your team up 20-10 as you went into that.
We did, and that came off a big turnover. Yeah. Cam Fox, right, had a tipped interception. Yep. Marion tried to throw a screen pass, and Cam tipped it up and caught it and ran it down to the 18, and it's a big play. 45 seconds left in the half, and you're up a score, and you get an opportunity to get the ball back on the 18 and potentially go up 2 scores, and so that was huge. It was a fade throw to Jalen Thomas, and Jalen is a new wide receiver for us, and it was a well-thrown ball, and it was really good to see him go up and make a play. And it wasn't an easy play, but it was one of those plays that you have to make.
Exactly.
And I was proud of him for doing that.
How important is it to your defensive players when they make that big turnover, then they see the offense punch in the end zone?
Yeah, I think it puts the cherry on top. Obviously you need to be intrinsically motivated, at all points, but I think when you can see kind of your works get rewarded a little bit, where it's like, hey, we got us down there, right? And then offense was able to kick in, and that's where the team game comes into play. And I think the ability to play complementary football, whether it's special teams or offense or defense, ultimately is what leads to a really productive football team.
Right.
And you saw some of that on Saturday.
In a situation like that, I bet the defensive players are the first ones giving a high five.
No doubt, right? They're as excited as anybody because
Absolutely.
they got to directly impact the score.
So neither team scores in the third period as well, and the Dragons the only ones that put points on the board in the fourth. First it was Nick Watson, this time from 45 yards out, put the Dragons up 27-10.
Yeah, I think what you saw in the fourth quarter was I thought offensively we started to lean on them a little bit. I thought the physical nature of the game had kind of shifted over to our side, and credit to them for playing 60 minutes. I thought they were a really good football team, but I think we leaned on them a little bit. Our depth allowed us to really kind of sustain that thing in the fourth quarter. We were able to throw Baden Pinson in the game, one of our bigger running backs, and kind of let him run loose a little bit, and it was good to see him do that, to be able to finish the game in a physical nature.
I believe Pinson was one of 4 running backs, I believe, that carried the ball for you on Saturday, and he did score the last touchdown of the game for the Dragons, a 20-yard touchdown pass that put the Dragons up 34-10, and that was the final score of the ball game. So you had 4 running backs get the ball, you had plenty of wide receivers out there making plays. And then you talked earlier about how Darius Penix scored that first touchdown. Then he was a lead blocker in the second touchdown. Talk about some of the unsung stuff that you saw on Saturday that really made you happy, I guess.
I think when you look at dynamic offenses and those that are able to strike, down the field vertically consistently. A lot of times it comes down to receiver blocking. It comes down to running back blocking. It comes down to a lineman straining a little bit more and doing a little bit extra to get that ball in the end zone. And so, like you saw that on Darius on Nick's second run, the 45-yard run. Jalen Thomas, right, who scored the touchdown earlier in the game, had a great block. And so it's those little things that show up on film, maybe not so much in the box score, and then on special teams, we had talked a little bit about Ryan Young, our long snapper, but man, he played a huge game. Driving rainstorm, had to impact the game as a snapper. You're backed up. First game as a true freshman,
right?
And it's pouring down, and you gotta perform, and he did that. So I thought he was an unsung guy. I thought on defense, what Hunter Waits did was huge. What Latrell Robinson did on the other side of the end was huge. Just being consistent and allowing our other guys to be able to go and be a bit more reckless. Landon Hall's a guy on our inside that never gets enough credit, and you don't notice him as much. Then he ends the game with 9 tackles,
right.
But I think he's a guy that, because of his steady Eddiness, allows our other guys to take some chances and really to be more splashy. So those are the guys that I thought stood out on Saturday for doing that. And big thing with us is trying to play a lot of guys on offense and defense, because we're still trying to figure things out.
Right.
We don't have
building depth.
Yeah, we don't have the recipe set. And we're able to get some more data on our players in a live action scenario to see who can count on this guy for that, count on that guy for this, and start to figure out what our rhythm is.
Right. Well, you mentioned your defense. I wrote down a couple things here about your defense. You mentioned the 8 sacks, the 2 interceptions, giving up 0.9 yards per rush, and holding your opponent to 4 of 16 on third downs. Those probably all pretty close to your goals you set for your guys.
Yeah, no, I thought defensively, I thought we played really well. I thought any big plays that were given up were man-made, and that's a positive thing, because those are correctable issues,
right.
But I thought we played well with energy. I thought we played with intensity. I thought we were the more aggressive team on Saturday. And to me, early in a season, that is what it is. Your execution is never going to be where you want it to be. As coaches, we always want to execute perfectly, but week 1 and week 2 and week 3, it's not about that. It's about effort. Right. It's about intensity, and it's about finishing football games. And I think we did that.
This Saturday's the home opener with Northwood coming to town, and 20 years ago on this Saturday's date, 9/11, we all know what happened that day, and so this week on Saturday, our game is a first responders, frontline workers game. How important is it to you and your program to make sure that we recognize those folks?
No, I think it's so important. I think those are the true heroes, right, when it really boils down to it. I think sometimes
without them, there's no football.
Yeah, I think sometimes we can magnify, people in different sports or entertainment industries, and I think really when you look at the first responders and what they do for a community, what they do for really others, they're the true servant leaders. And so in our program, the ability to serve others is the first step in leading, and I think they're a great example of that.
That's this Saturday. It's a 1 o'clock kickoff. Make sure you get down to Frost Kavanaugh Stadium. Should be a beautiful day, low 80s, high sunshine, and no reason to get out and take in the Dragons as they battle Northwood, who's coming in 0-1, but they play their schedule I was looking at coming up, started with you guys as a murderer's row, so they're going to be ready to bear this weekend, and you guys got to be too.
They will be. No, they'll be ready. They're a good football team. They're always well coached. Offensively, they pose some challenges because of what they do and how they do it, and defensively, I've been really impressed with them. I think they're very aggressive. They've got some really, really talented kids in the back end, and so it'll be another test for us, and one that we have to have a great week of practice and just focus on each day. And for us, it's not so much about who we play; it's about how we play.
Exactly.
And just trying to go one step at a time and focus on Tiffin.
If you'd like more information on Tiffin University football, you get it at GoTiffinDragons.com. You get more information on the Gridiron Club as well at GoTiffinDragons.com. Coach, have a great week of practice and do it again next week.
Thank you, Russ. Appreciate you.
All right, he's Coach Cris Reisert. I'm voice of the Dragons, Russ Snyder. We'll catch you next time on the Cris Reisert Show.